Travis Scott sued over predictable and preventable Astroworld tragedy, a spin story. He's being sued by a concert goer who was injured during the Astroworld tragedy on Friday night, which left 8 people dead and 300 more injured. In the suit, Manuel Souza filed a lawsuit against Travis Scott himself as an organizer, Scoremore, and concert behemoth Live Nation, claiming the deadly disaster was predictable and preventable, a motivation for profit at expense of concert goers, healthy and safety, and the encouragement of violence. A second suit was filed by Christine Paredes. The suit named Travis Scott and Drake as defendants and are accused of negligence. It alleges that Drake came on stage alongside Travis Scott and helped incite the crowd, and the crowd became chaotic and stampede began, leaving 8 dead and dozens injured. Kristen Paredes severely injured. The devastating incident occurred when a large portion of the festival, 50,000-person crowd, attempted to rush to the front of the stage during Scott's headlining set all at once, resulting in fans crushing each other. And the story continues. It's a lot more than that, by the way, on how a security guard was injected when he was trying to help somebody, and he passed that. They took him in. Apparently, the needle had authorities said that they watched the video, interview witness, and review concert protocols to determine that 8 people died of use. As soon as he jumped off the stage, it was like an energy took over and everything. But there's a story. It was Narcan is what was in it, right? It was revived by the opioid antidote, Narcan. And then at the same time, Travis Scott performed for an additional 37 minutes after that took place. So there's a lot of different things. I have some numbers that I want to share, and then I'll get your thoughts on this because I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. So here's the number one question. Who is held accountable for this? Because this is another one of those similar situations as what happened with Alec Baldwin. And he's the producer. If you're the executive producer, you're in charge. Astroworld, that's his product. So you're held accountable. Now, a few things. Number one, the Rolling Stones experienced this when a fan died in 1969 at a concert, and that became something that everybody kept bringing up. The place where they did, a lot of people said that it didn't have capacity. This place can fit 200,000 people, and there was only 50,000. So it's not like it was a capacity problem. When they say how many people were working there was 528 total officers, police officers, morning, day shift, and night shift, 528 total. The day shift people were working overtime, and it had 755 security officers. Whether that's high or low, that's a lot of people that they had working there, right? Fans who were nurses were coming out and helping out because they didn't have enough. People were being dropped. I don't know if you saw that video with people being dropped. And then on top of that, 25 arrests. You see things like this happening at concerts, but not at this level. The part that's very disturbing is the fact that after the crowd is screaming, you go for another 37 minutes. Yeah. Did they know? Did they not know? Who knows at this point of the game? What are your thoughts about what happened?
No, obviously it's a travesty on that end. There's no doubt about it. And we've all seen videos from the crowd, people screaming, people saying stop. I think the interesting part is definitely the last part that you mentioned where they went on for the show after it was declared a mass casualty declaration. And some say, like, obviously his girlfriend, is it Kylie Jenner, came out and said, obviously we didn't know until afterwards, but somebody must have known. And that's, I think, just a failure of communication or why they wouldn't let it go up the chain so that he can find out so they could stop it. And even when I heard there was an ambulance driving through the crowd as well, and like people were hopping on it, like that's just insane. Like there's no sense of reasonable, and obviously at that point you're seeing something's up. Like an ambulance just doesn't go through the crowd for no reason. Yep. So I definitely think that there's a lot of failure points there. I'm on the other side though. I don't think that too much is going to come out of the lawsuits. I'm sure they'll get some sort of compensation for it, but beyond that, I don't see it being anything big. I just hope this could be more of a lesson for anything like this in the future as well.
Well, I think there's going to be some big stuff that's going to happen here. This isn't just one person down. This is a mass casualty event. So let me paint a picture for you. When's the last time that you were at a concert even remotely this insane?
2 years ago.
Where were you?
Remotely this?
Yes,
no.
This wild. Like you haven't been to a concert like this probably in years, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than a decade.
You've never been to a Travis Scott concert or a hip-hop concert in years, Rolling Loud, anything. Have you been to anything like this recently?
No.
Okay, so I've been to a bunch of these. Again, live in downtown Miami. Rolling Loud is here every year. I know the co-founders of Rolling Loud, buddies of mine, lived in my building. I know these people that put these events on. There's a lot of work that goes on to these events. I've seen Travis Scott in concert probably 3 or 4 times. And one was in Okeechobee, Florida, which is sort of like It's a little more of a hippie.
What's the audience? The 3 or 4 you've been to? Is it all 50K, 25K, big numbers?
No. One was at the Miami Heat Arena, which is now
15K, 17K.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't that crazy. But I've been to one event at Rolling Loud where he performed that it gets wild. I was just at Rolling Loud.
Yeah.
We filmed. David, when did we film that? June, July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Summer.
So here's what you need to know about Travis Scott. And for the record, he's probably one of my favorite rappers out there. And the reason why this happened at an event like this and a performer like this is that he relishes getting the crowd hype, or as he's literally coined, lit. Like, he's probably the one that has made "It's Lit" famous more than everybody. Now everybody talks about "It's lit, it's lit." That was Travis Scott. So the point is this: he has music and songs and the way that he does his show that gets the people hype like no other. So basically what happened was, he's from Houston. This was his event. It's not like it was just a random pop in. Like, Drake popped into this event to sing one song. They have a song together called Sicko Mode that people literally go sicko mode on. The mayor, the police chief know him personally. Again, he's from Houston. So apparently they had a conversation with him before the event. They were like, look, we know that crowds in your world go wild. Just be mindful of that. Before the event. Did you see what happened prior to the event? Like,
the
before
stampede?
People, have you ever seen anything like that?
Terrible. The stampede was insane.
That set the tone for this event.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of people, not just sneaking in, crushing, stampeding through gates, stampeding through security. It was insane. Apparently, he tweeted before, like, let's get raid. Let's get I want the ragers. I want the wild people to be here. Tiffany, our friend Tiffany, who does social media, she's, how often does she get into these stories? She's been so upset for the last, days that I've seen her. She's like, I'm so upset at this person because she's been to events like this. And it's so easy for this something to happen, because here's the deal. The person that holds the mic has the power. The person that holds the mic has control. If you want the crowd to get crazy, wild, lit, rage, that you can do that. That's the power of the mic. This is powerful, what we're talking to. On the flip side, if you want the crowd to chill out, back up, calm down, you can also do that. There's been events like Rolling Loud where there's been a musical guest like A$AP Rocky that is trending right now, where they've given an example of there's mosh pits, there are people going crazy, there's, getting hyped, getting lit, and he goes, everybody, there's a girl on the floor, stop the show. Stop the show. The show pauses, give it 5 minutes, get things regrouped. In the middle of all this is probably the saddest thing. While people were literally dying, getting stampeded, getting run over, he kept performing. There's a viral video of a girl climbing onto the stage, yelling, stop the show. There's a gentleman right after her. Like, people were aware of this.
Yeah.
So you asked the initial question, who's liable here? Number one, this is a Live Nation event. That's iHeartMedia. They're going to have some prices to pay, right? Travis Scott, the person that, this is Astroworld, this is his event. There's going to be some prices to pay. The promoters, the lack of security, the crowd control. 8+ people, we don't know people who are injured. 8 people have died. Okay, this is, the last event that I remember something like this.
11 people cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest at a concert.
Especially for young people, too.
People are getting hyped, man. And it's like, this is also, people probably don't want to address this. This is also on the crowd. This is also on the crowd. Like, I've been in events like this when the crowd is getting crazy. David, when we were filming at Rolling Loud, I said, let's get out of here, bro. This is getting a little too wild. We had camera equipment. Remember, we said, let's stay towards the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are getting wild. So when you have people on the floor, people are being stampeded, but people are wasted, drugged out, whatever they are, that's at a festival, things like this happen, you have to be aware of your fellow man and fellow woman. And if there's someone on the ground, you can't just be like, oh, well, good luck, buddy. So hopefully this is a wake-up call that when you're out there, you're partying, you got to party responsibly. But at the end of the day, the person with the mic is Travis Scott, and he's going to be held accountable. You have something there?
I was trying to send you a file. Here's what I did. Okay, you can't get it. I pulled up 11 of the deadliest concert disasters in recent history. This is a November 8th article. I don't know if you got that or not. What is that background noise, by the way? There's a little bit of static. Okay, 11 of the deadliest concerts. Go to it.
The last concert that I remember that was this tragic was the Ariana Grande. But that was a...
Click on, that's the one. That's the one. Click on that one. Click on that one. So let's go down to this. Okay. Astroworld,
Astroworld?
8 dead out of 50K. Rock Slide Festival in Denmark, 9. This
But I
was in
think with that
2020.
one, is that a shooter as well? No.
9
Following
men
the
were
crowd.
killed at Pearl Jam concert. Well, rushed to the stage, and those in the front collapsed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, number 9, The Who at Cincinnati Riverfront in 1979, 11 deaths. 11 people died. More than 18,000 tickets were sold at The Who's concert in Cincinnati Riverfront, and there were only 25 police officers allotted for the crowd control, and the set to begin at 8 p.m., but the doors were still closed at 7:45 when an anxious crowd, hearing The Who's warm up and mistaking it for opening numbers, surged towards the door. General admission seating made up 80% of the tickets sold. Okay, next one is Mawazine Festival in Morocco. 11 died. 9-day festival was meant to promote reputation of Morocco. Next one is Love Parade, Germany in 2010, 21. Keep going. Ghost Ship Fire, Oakland, California, 36. This is in 2016. Indiana State Fair College stage collapse. So this is a collapse. This is a different instance. 56. Santika nightclub fire. Okay, that's a fire in Thailand in 2009, 100. Station nightclub fire, 100. That's in Rhode Island, 03. Beverly Hills Super Club fire, 165. That's Southgate,
Fire.
Kentucky, 1977. And then Cromanone fire, 194. But these are different reasons on what happened.
Because the first 4 are fires.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Adam. How many times have you gone to a club where you've seen guys passed out on the side and they're on G or they're drunk and they're just completely gone, right?
Yeah.
That's all the time when you go
Every
to
time you go out, you're going to see someone who just is messed up.
Okay.
For sure.
So for the people that go to parties a lot and they see that, to them it's what? Just another guy that's gone, right?
Right. I don't think too many people overthink.
That's right.
Handle your
Overthink.
liquor, buddy.
I wonder who saw that and is thinking, hey, that's what's going on. The difference is nobody's sitting down. There's not a couch. There's not like you're sitting by a lounge area. The guy's on the ground. They're stomping over this guy. One girl says, I was holding him. I was telling people to stop. They couldn't hear me. The place was so loud. She's, crying in tears saying people couldn't stop. And I remember when he died, he died in my arms. Just a 20-year-old kid. Girl is telling these stories. So it's tragic what happens. The only thing is, when you see something like this, is what can you do to prevent this? Okay.
Right.
So go to preventative measures. How do you prevent these things from happening again? Is it more security? The bigger claim was the fact that there was not enough nurses. The biggest fact was that CNN interviewed a girl that was there with her boyfriend who says, I wasn't drunk. I was totally fine. I was sober. I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was having a heart attack. He says, I was in the middle. I told my boyfriend, I want to get out of here. I can't even breathe anymore. I don't know if you saw that interview or not. And then she says, I go to the back. They're giving me a bottle of water. 3 people are passed out. I go and check their pulse. I said, that guy's got to go to the hospital. I think he's dead because he doesn't have a pulse. And she says, I'm a nurse. They were calling everybody because they didn't have enough people that were there. So to me, everything is fine. The lawsuits are going to come out. It ain't going to stop. This is not going to be pretty for Live Nation or himself. I think Drake's probably going to be left alone because suing Drake, if Drake's not an Astroworld, does he own the brand? No. That's not his brand, right? They want to throw his name in there.
He's just a paid
totally
host,
fine. He's just doing what he's doing.
He was a performer for one song.
Yeah, but Travis Scott's going to be held
100%.
accountable. Live Nation's going to be held accountable. They're trying to hold the cops accountable. I think the chief came out and talked yesterday. He says, I gave the numbers incorrectly. He says, we are very good at doing these things. He said, the media is saying that we were not prepared for it. That is not true. We were fully prepared for this. These sorts of things is tragic. The only people that are struggling right now the most are the parents or the family that lost. Yeah. So they're trying to mitigate the situation, but it's not a pretty sight. The only thing I think about, what do you do to prevent this in the future?
Yeah, well, here, let me paint a picture for you. Because, again, I've been to multiple festivals like this. Sometimes I cover them for Valuetainment. Sometimes I just go. There's more than one stage usually at these big events. So there's the main stage, which I assume he was performing at his concert. And then there's going to be maybe another 1 or 2, ancillary stages, right? They're not the main stage. So what happens is they'll have different events staggered throughout. So at the main stage, the Astroworld stage, Travis goes on at 9:30. There's another artist over on that side of the event that goes on at 8:30. There's another event that goes on over here. He's on at 8:20. So there's these staggered events, right? And basically what happens is once the event that you're at, let's say you're listening to Lil Nas X over here. I'm just throwing out, I'm not even sure he was there. I'm just using an example. His set ends at 8:55. Travis Scott starts at 9. Everyone's aware. As soon as this is over, get your ass to Travis Scott. Everyone's there to see that. So the crowd moves from
fast,
here and rushes over here. And there's no assigned seating. It's just get in where you fit in. So if you have 50,000 people, if let's say you have 20,000 that are already at the Travis Scott stage,
waiting,
and you've got another 20,000 rushing over, it just becomes slammed, trample, moving on. So you ask preventative, I don't know how you prevent 20,000 people from scrambling this way. There needs to be a way of this. There's people that this is their job, right? Crowd control, systematic approach to these types of events. But a lot of time it is chaos. I've been there moving from crowd to crowd. Remember when we went from one stage to we were at the event where DaBaby made those at Rolling Loud, those homophobic references. Yeah. We were there. We said, this is getting insane. We actually left right before that. But I don't know how you control 20,000 like think about 20,000 people coming into a basketball game. They got to go through turnstiles. They got to go through security. Yeah. These are people that are already in there and just are free to move about. It is controlled chaos. And if you're not head on a swivel, awake, completely understanding your surroundings, you full on can get trampled on. And then when everyone's moving towards the stage, because everyone wants to obviously get as close as possible to the stage, if you're at the front of the crowd near the stage, I don't know how you're going to get back out that way. And that's so like you saw the video of the ambulance trying to get through. How the hell does an ambulance get through there? And then when you're in the middle of Travis Scott music, whether it's Sicko Mode or Butterfly Effect or Goosebumps, like the guy's got some banging music.
Yeah, good luck.
People are getting wild, and now you have an ambulance coming through. You see that, you're jumping on top of the ambulance. You're not thinking clearly. So there's going to need this. This might reshape how concerts are done.
Give me the order of responsibility. Okay, so you made a very good point. Number one, whoever is in charge of the concert controls the point of contact. Okay,
Live Nation.
So I don't know if it's Live Nation. Is number one Travis Scott to stop and say, guys, let's get help for this? Is he number one?
Well, I don't know if he's number one. I'd say also a big thing for me would be some sort of like the management team. Like if we think of the vault, right? You're at the vault, you're kind of doing your thing and you're talking, you're in your own headspace at that point, right? You're doing your thing. But it should be somebody behind the scenes who pulls and says, head pat, like here's a note or something, like something's going on here. That's to me,
that's
who
a very
needs
good
to pull
point.
the plug.
That's a good point for somebody to communicate. So then the question becomes, did somebody communicate to him to say, hey, 8 people are down?
Did
someone communicate that?
Apparently they did.
So if they did.
Apparently they did.
If I may.
Yeah.
If Patrick sees an ambulance in the middle of the crowd, you stop it. He clearly saw the ambulance. There's no way you can't see it.
That's true.
So he chose to go on.
So that's, to me, look, I've ran events as large as 10,000 people at MGM Grand, right, where you see what's going on. You have to be aware of what's going on in a big way. I remember we do events, and guys would come the night before and sleep in front. 2,000 people would be lined up and planning. Hotel would say, you guys can't do this anymore. And there would be stampede, so we had to slow everything down because a couple times people would run and people fell. Yeah. One guy even bumped into my dad, and my dad almost fell. Security came and said, your dad almost fell, so people were running through. They didn't know it was your dad. So I think there's a part of that where crowd control running, man, that is very dangerous when you do that. That's number one, protocol changing. But number two would be, I don't know, man, if you're on the stage and you're seeing this is happening, if you pause and he said, guys, everybody pause, stop, boom, go there. Okay.
Well, apparently he did say he saw someone, I guess, to his left if he was on stage. He said, somebody's passed out, get him up, whatever.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to him, it was a lot worse than someone passed out.
You got 37 minutes for somebody to say, dude,
yes,
a person's not breathing.
No.
Chill out. You mean 37 minutes someone cannot communicate that to you?
That's where the huge failure is.
It's understanding. I think here's the bottom line. It's understanding the big picture ramifications of this event, because this event is going to be here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
But while you're in the moment, the crowd is hype. You're on stage. You're feeling the effect, the performance. You got, all the feels going on right now. I mean, imagine if you're on stage, 50,000 people are chanting your name. You're feeling some type of way, right? You have to have the ability to say, guys, pause, give it 5 minutes, back up. Again, the person with the mic has the power, and he had the power to stop this, and unfortunately he didn't.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen because these things are moving fairly quickly right now. Every day you're hearing something new about it. TMZ had the story about the guy getting poked in the neck.
Yeah.
The security
The
guard.
security guard, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see where this is
Yeah.
going to go.
And
Somebody said they were spreading COVID shots and all this stuff. You know, there was a lot of conspiracies that are coming out.
I don't get all
Yeah.
that. I mean, I've been to many festivals. I think those are just like ancillary random stuff. But let's not forget the main thing is that people died while trying to have a good time. This wasn't like a stage that fell. This wasn't a fire.
Yeah.
An
This was
accident.
people. This was
The
preventable.
last thing we need
Yes.
is people fearing another reason to go to a live event to
Insane.
be around each
Yeah.
other. It's like the last thing you need to have another thing added to it. Go ahead, Tyler.
Well, just real quick, you know, this reminds me a lot of Black Friday on a much bigger scale. Like when
Yeah.
everybody was rushing in the door at Black Friday, but that stopped because you can do online shopping now. So there's been a lot of talk about the metaverse. How long, and does this lead credence to the idea of people just slap on an Oculus and they go to a live event through their, or not a live event, but a concert through their virtual reality in the metaverse, where they can dress up as their character, this, that, and the other. It's like, does this speed that up at all? And how does this change, you know, live events going forward?
I think that's a good point. But look, I think live events, people have been yearning to get the hell out there and have a good time.
I don't see that happening anytime soon, especially with the limited access we've had to live events. Like, people are probably craving it more now than ever. But interestingly enough, there's a correlation here too, though, if you think about it, with all the aggression in sports and people have been going to live events in sports and the
Fights in crowds, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like there might be some correlation here to crowds.
It's
and
almost like
concerts.
people haven't been able to leave the house for the last year and
So
a
they
half,
don't know
and
how
they
to
don't know how to
behave.
act.
Yeah, they don't
Wonder
know how
why.
to behave.
On another note, the Kardashian Jenner clan, they're gonna get some
Distance
hate
themselves?
on this. No, I don't know about distance. They're gonna get a lot of hate because they were there. Kendall was there. Kylie was there. They were in the VIP section. They were, Snapchatting, doing
I
Insta
saw.
stories.
Kylie had a mask on or
Yeah,
something
mask.
like that.
I mean,
saw
look,
that.
that's
Yeah,
where they
Kylie
should have
said
been. I don't think there's anything
she
wrong with
couldn't
that.
see anything, but there's an ambulance in her Instagram story. So it's like she's like, I wasn't aware, but there's an ambulance in her story.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, yeah, you were.
Yikes.
But there's a difference between getting criticism. There's a difference between getting sued. There's a difference between knowing somebody you love is no longer here anymore. So there's levels to the kind of pain you're going to go through. Believe me, they would gladly change their exchange their current struggles of being hated
Of
on
course.
versus
I
somebody.
feel for the parents of the teenagers and 20-something-year-old kids that said, "Hey, Mom, I'm going out to the concert. All right, have fun.
Yeah.
Call me when you're done." And there was no call.
I
at
saw
the end
footage
the
of a
day.
brother saying, "My brother's no longer here with me.
That
we
to
went
me
there
is-
together."
that to me
was
is ridiculous.
Listening to this kid crying
Yes.
was so painful. Anyways,
How could it not
our
be?
condolences goes
For
out
sure.
to the entire family of those who lost their loved one at this concert. Prayers goes out to your family.